So we're on the on-arrival question, and our on-arrival question today was, how do you think reflective listening compares to our everyday conversation? So what we want to do is sort of contrast how they compare to each other. And let me bring up mine. What did I have? So I broke it down into everyday conversation, reflective listening, and then a third component, which was thinking about redesigning the question. And for everyday conversation, what I find is each person is going to see everyday conversation differently. You know, it's just everybody has, there's a really wide variety of ways of experiencing everyday conversation. So the question maybe could have been, how do you personally experience the difference of reflective listening as compared to everyday conversation in your life? So probably should have said, like, more personally how it is. And I find that everyday conversation can be competitive. You know, you have to compete to be heard, and that it's like it's full of the blocks, like, you know, the empathy blocks that we've been talking about. They're just, it kind of just fills the space. Different blocks come up at different times in different ways, and so it feels kind of uncomfortable. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel a little stressful for both the listener and the speaker, unless you're kind of very dominant and you're always kind of out there. But or we're the most extroverted person, you know, where they get the most attention. Or, I mean, for me, it can be frustrating with my partner. She's always she's very good at rational argument. So, you know, I say something, it's like turns into, you got to be kind of like a lawyer to kind of argue it out. And it's just frustrating. So I just listen. And that's what I get with empathic listening. I don't have to worry about the person arguing with me. I don't have to feel that, you know, all the different blocks. I don't have to feel that the blocks are coming at me. So it feels good to be able just to speak and to have whatever my ideas are sort of unfolds. That feels very relaxing, and I just enjoy it a lot. That's why I'm like this super big fan of it, because it just feels damn good. So that was mine, and going down the list, Bill was next.
Very similar. I felt that, you know, reflective listening really seeks to kind of put you in someone else's shoes as deeply as you can be, you know, depending on your skills and things like that. Everyday conversation, again, has, various, uses, like, watch out, there's a truck, to, how are you feeling or whatever. What I found, though, is, because Miller talks about reflective listening in this chapter in the context of greater conversation, and I really think seeks to integrate it as a sort of seamless part of your conversation in your everyday life. And that's the wonderful benefit that I seem to have, as I just feel a little softer around the edges, ready to not take things so defensively and see the other person's part. So I feel in that sense it enriches it, and particularly the skill involved there is that because of my practice of reflective listening, I'm much more attuned to how I say and what I say and how I say it will be perceived by the other person. So I have an idea of how I can present it to try to get the communicative effect that I wish to communicate.
Okay, Peter, you're next.
Yeah. So let me see. Just refresh what I wrote. So I wrote that it's entering the place where I could focus on letting go of all the things I hold on to in my mind, so I could focus on what the person's saying. And again, the idea of focus, I guess maybe because it's just my style, I'm always thinking of a million things. But when it's reflective listening, when I really focus in on hearing what's happening and whether I put those things to the side or I drown them out for that temporary amount of time, it's almost like opening up the floodgates of all that information coming in, all that significance, all like what's really being said, you know. And this is, again, it's that balance I have in my professional versus my personal life. You know, professionally as a social worker, I'm listening for all these different things, and at the same time, I also get a ton of information when I let go of all of them, put them all to the side, and just focus in on exactly what's being said, getting the real deep intent. So, you know, it's like, you know, it works both ways, but that focusing on that reflective listening of really hearing what's that little subtle thing the person's really trying to say behind everything that's being said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Celia, you're next. Now I'll write it in as you say it.
Yeah, focus. That's for me the word as well. The difference is focus. So in everyday conversation, I just let go. I say also whatever comes by, or say new messages and so on. But if there's really something, I straight away shift focus from me to the other person. And I'm really happy that that is a skill that is with me all the time. So even if I like yesterday, I said something to someone that I thought was not really answering her question, but more defending myself. And then, but I caught myself and I thought, okay, I have to take back what she said. So shifting focus from yourself to the other person and back to yourself. That is, I think, the difference between a regular conversation and empathic listening, yeah. Or reflective listening even. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just jotting it down here.
Thank you so much. It wasn't that bad this morning, my computer, right?
Yeah, you were able to open everything up. It was, I remember that. It just worked.
Weird. Okay.